I will later.
Yeah. So yeah, you're
Chirag is
good.
gonna
But if you
break in
want
here
the
and tell me.
Med-C document, I
I'm
mean, I'm
I'm
happy to
just
send
sitting
it to you.
here. I'm literally sitting here. If the coaching gods could take me away, I just died and went to heaven. Right here.
Okay,
It
I'm in
all
my
ended
first year
today.
with you,
Uh-oh.
Chirag. I better get it by now.
I hope
Just,
you didn't hear me.
just people saying this and this conversation just really shows how valuable community is, right? And how much you
Yeah.
all should lean on to each other. And I always say it, the best part about this place is all of you. And the most valuable thing in all this place is the connections you can make with each other, right? So Mike is with his family, so I'm your guest host today. Mike did record his session, so just for everyone, people do travel, people do have things, we do have lives just like all of you do, but if we're not here, the host who's doing the thing will record the session. There'll be a moderator, so I'll be moderating the discussion as well as the accountability group. But by the way, while we're talking about prospecting, let me just share this with you. I have gone down like the matrix sized rabbit hole, the guy, the pill they take, like, I don't want to believe what the world exists or whatever it is crazy in that movie for Compass One, right? So Compass One, I think arguably might be the greatest prospecting tool for your past clients ever. So the accountability session, I'll share that with you, but I'm doing a national training at 3 o'clock about it today. I don't know anything I've spent more time making a presentation on since I built Pitch and Compass in 2008 and any of these 8-hour full day sessions we have. So there is so much good stuff for all of you. Like, I'm really excited. And from what I've been told, the way that we're looking at it here and we're going to learn it is very different than what everyone else sees. So it's pretty cool. So the flow for today will be Mike, we're going to listen to Mike's session. We'll have a discussion after, and then we'll go into the accountability portion. Mike has his deliverable and everything else. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, your featured presentation. Please hold. Everyone can see the screen.
All right, guys. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome from Napa, California. You're obviously watching a recording today. We're going to talk about an easy subject matter, though, for prospecting for this week's session. And then just from logistics standpoint, Chirag is then going to jump on and talk about the accountability session and allow you guys to ask questions and just really kind of cover maybe more depth in regards to networking in general. So simple topic. We're going to talk about networking. We're going to talk about growing your sphere of influence. My main purpose, or at least goal for this session, is to give you guys real life ways to build a list, like to actually make more contacts, build more relationships, etc. And there's going to be a resource for you, which is just going to be a list that's hopefully designed to help kind of stimulate your thought and give you guys some creative outlets on how to meet some more people in your life. So let me share my screen here with you, and we will dive right in. Networking, by the way, it's kind of one of those situations when we talk about networking. I want to make it really clear in the beginning that it's not about conversion. Like, networking is not about conversion. It's not about trying to sell people. It's not about converting a client from an event or from some sort of meetup group. It's about being you. It's about creating real relationships. It's about adding people to your list who you are going to then connect with and communicate with and provide content to and provide value to throughout the year, so that down the road, when someone is now in need of real estate, they are going to reach out and connect with you. Okay, so networking is not about conversion. It is about building real, meaningful relationships. And so I want you to first just kind of get your mind spinning around, okay, take the pressure off of what do I say? How do I bring up real estate? Like, at the end of the day, this is about getting contact information, right? Adding people to your sphere of influence, starting that step or that wheel of hey, know, like, and trust. You got to know me first before you then start to like my content, before you like me as a professional, and ultimately before you trust me. So it's not about conversion. Big fact. All right. Whether you like it or not, one of the biggest differences between top and average performing real estate agents comes down to the number of new people that you meet, period. Okay. So if you are looking at like, okay, what does this mean for prospecting? What does this mean for growing my real estate business? This is one of the largest, if not the largest differentiators, right? And that is if I look at, agents that are doing 7 figures, even 8 figures in GCI, big agents, guys, they meet hundreds of new people every single month, hundreds. Like they're in this, they're just in the mode and habit of like meeting new people and cultivating relationships. They just do that really, really well. Okay. So sometimes you'll meet people and you'll be like, wow, they're not very great at real estate, but they are great at people. If you become great at people in this business, you are going to succeed. I can promise you that. And so what this is designed to do when you really look at networking is the goal here is to build a habit. It's to build a weekly habit of you doing things where you're going to add to your book, right? That means I'm going to add new relationships. I'm going to add new contacts. I'm going to add new friendships, new professional relationships, because eventually when you start to look at like, how do I create, downhill momentum in my business? If you look at it, it's plus 80% of most transactions come from our sphere of influence, referrals, past clients, things of that nature. And as you start to build this momentum, what you'll see is there's actually a break with top producers. Top producers often report that 60 to 70% of their business comes from their sphere of influence, because they then are free, okay, to actually start to like actually build capital and put things into marketing and lead generation, and they're farming and they've got other things that start to pay off. So creating a habit, no matter how small it is, guys, when it comes to building your list, is an important one, and it's something that you need to learn and just get on board with, because it will mean everything 10 years from now for you. Okay. So there's 2 avenues of networking that we'll discuss. Digital online platforms, which I'm not a huge fan of. Again, when it comes to shortcuts with relationships, there aren't a lot. Meeting people is still meeting people. So there are some real digital platforms that you can meet people and have conversations and build relationships through, but nothing will beat in-person outlets, both number one by the majority of how many there are, and really the value of the relationship that you're going to be building and the time that you're going to have to put into it. Okay. So 2 avenues of networking today. First one, digital outlets. So there's some great platforms. First one I'll talk about is just Facebook groups in general. And Facebook groups, there are events. Obviously, you're looking for things that are going to be in your locale, like your actual area. You obviously don't want to be meeting people on Facebook, outside of your state or in a place where you don't plan or can't do any real estate business. Getting into situations like Reddit, Nextdoor, different places where you can provide advice, answer questions, things of that nature, can be outlets for building relationships. And like Facebook groups, you also have LinkedIn events and groups that do host, digital kind of events. Meetup.com also has virtual events through some of the meetup groups. If you've never been to meetup.com, please check that out. I think my biggest caution, though, again, with digital is that the environments don't always guarantee that the individuals are going to be in your areas, right? It's kind of like one of the benefits of digital environments is I don't have to live in the area to participate in that topic, that subject, that event. And so oftentimes you will find that these digital outlets, they tend to attract a large group of people, very few of them actually necessarily residing or living in your area. And sometimes it is hard to tell whether or not someone is really in your area unless you get into conversation again, begin to create a relationship. And so like, I've had a lot of people get disappointed in the past where they get into these digital networking events and they're like, oh, I just met 10 people and I'm able to chat, I'm able to text, I'm able to do it from the safety or the comfort of my own computer. And 2 weeks later, they start to realize that like half the people don't even live in their area. And like, they don't know that in the beginning until they get into a relationship and spend energy and time trying to connect with those relationships. And so digital outlets are tough. It doesn't mean that they can't work or that they can't work for you. But those are the reasons why I believe that, they really should be adjusted as almost a secondary for most of you. when it comes to the in-person stuff, right? In-person stuff is going to outshine digital environments 10-1. It's not even going to be close. There is a long list. One of the assets I'm going to provide you, in fact, today, is a networking activities list. And you're going to go through basically, I'm going to kind of talk about these as I go through them. I'll bring up this actually on my screen. In fact, let's actually stop this share and let's share a bigger version of that document there for you. So the goal of obviously networking, again, is to create, a habit of weekly networking activities to grow your sphere of influence list. Obviously, if you're the individual too, where you don't have a real big list to be calling right now, this should become a primary. Like, this should be a priority for you. This should be something where you're like, okay, I need to start to really book more of these activities every single week until my book gets to a minimum of 300 people. And this will ultimately help you meet your weekly conversation goals without any issues, just based on the call tracking and schedules that we've been talking about. So here's some activities, and I won't spend a lot of time on these, but I'll go through some of them, right? Like, obviously, working open houses. We'll talk more about the victory of open houses and how to really succeed there. But working open houses is a great way to meet new people. Joining a business networking group. If you are a parent, if you have children, there are parent groups. There are school and extracurricular activities in almost every city, every town, on the planet. You can attend art gallery openings, attend performances, musicals, plays, network at your religious organization if that's applicable for you. Network with alumni groups, whether it be your university, schools, other alumni groups, whether it's been professional organizations that you've been a part of. You can also get involved with other hobbies and meetup groups, and meetup.com. Again, I gave that reference on the digital side, is a great one for you guys. Network with divorce attorneys, network with estate planners, network with midwife or holistic birthing counselors, headhunters, job placement firms, large corporations. There's a ton of places where you can network that can serve as third-party kind of almost relationships to you. But they can also become your clients. Like, that's the greatest part about this, is that a lot of professionals out there, while they may also have an avenue to clients for you, they can also become a client of yours. So large corporations, talk to the HR divisions, network and farm apartment buildings, go to apartment building meetups, go to like their events, their yoga, their whatever it is that's happening at the building, especially if it's open to the public. Network with local police and fire departments, network with local union groups, join a book club, look for volunteer opportunities. I love volunteer opportunities because there's always a plethora of those. It's a great way to serve, give back. A lot of the time when you're participating in give back situations, you get to spend a lot of time with people, which is a great, way to connect with people that are also like-minded, and it allows you more than just like a handshake to get to know somebody. Even when you're at coffee, you go to the coffee shop, pay it forward, buy somebody a coffee, start up a conversation. There's lots of different ways, even at coffee shops, for you to, do events and host events to meet new people. You can obviously host an informational session of your own. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to provide all of the people for that, right? Informational sessions are great because I love to pair with a third party, an attorney, a mortgage company, a title company, whatever it is. And in those situations, I'm leaning on that provider, right, to also invite their list of people. I'm going to invite some of my list of people. And it's a great way for us to kind of mesh and expand our contact lists through providing obviously something that's of value to people. So whether that's like a new buyer session, whether that's something for sellers, whether that's refinance talks, whatever it is, it's a great way for you guys to meet new people. Hopefully get more involved in your hobby groups. And I listed a whole bunch here just in case you're like, gosh, I haven't had a hobby in a really long time. Whether that's arts and crafts, whether that's athletics and fitness, dance, music, movies, theater, sports, yoga, nutrition, science, biology, political debate. I don't care what it is, guys. There are lots of groups that are available for all of these hobbies. And the reason I say that hobbies can be such a great avenue for people is that most of the time we find synergy within people that we find commonality with. And so like individuals who like the same sports team, individuals who are into the same kind of like artistic art or musical theater. Like we find kind of a synergy with those kind of people. So if you really want to create, you know, a lasting sphere of influence, really start to get more involved in some of those hobby areas, because you're more likely to create a connection with those relationships. Possible business affiliates too, and this kind of just as an extension from the above, but like mortgage brokers, closing agents, attorneys, home inspectors, contractors, photographers, stagers, gifting companies. These are all people that you should be networking with, not because you're hoping that they're going to send you business, right? But because you want to create a real relationship with them. They should be a part of your dialing. If they live in your area, guys, they are just as actively available to become your client as anyone else. And sometimes we don't see it that way because we go, oh, you're in the industry, so I expect that you probably already have a favorite, or you probably already have an agent, or you probably already would work with somebody. Don't probably your way out of the opportunity. Look for these situations as ways for you to add to your sphere of influence and start to build real relationships with these people. You never know what that's going to bring about when it comes to your business. So really simple lesson plan this week, really simple conversation around networking. I think the biggest takeaway for most of you today should be that networking is not about conversion. It's not about trying to flip a client or turn a client or convince somebody that you're the best real estate agent. It's about connecting with people and trying to start a relationship, right? Become a servant leader to their needs, start to become a resource for them, start to dig in and find out what makes them happy and what they're interested in life. And I can just be sure with you that if you do that, right, and you're strong with that and you're consistent with that, you guys are going to build some really great relationships, and it's going to take you guys a really, really, really far way. So again, I'm going to have Chirag go ahead and post the link for the actual accountability session in the chat, because it's a recording. I'm not going to do it. But I'll make sure he has this for you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. I will be live back again doing prospecting, where I think we're going to be talking about digital leads. Might be digital leads. I think it's digital leads. I'm not positive. It's either that or it's circle prospecting. One of those two is coming up, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. So thanks for chiming in. See you guys when I get back. Have a great afternoon.